Welcome to the Peak News. I'm Jason Lupo, guest hosting for the Watchman Heim Goldman, who's taking a much-needed break, spring break vacation with his wife. His family's still here in town. They're actually in the studio with us today. And you're listening to AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer. And for everything The Peak, including our 100-plus podcasts, go to our website at thepeak.news. Peak News is brought to you by Full Armour Swim and Sports Teams, because I'm hosting, so might as well throw out my own sponsor for there. If you need swim lessons for your children and trusted coaches and adults in your kids' corner, join us, fullarmourswimteam.com. Peak News is a truth-telling and First Amendment defending broadcast and internet news source for citizens of the Pikes Peak region. And we invite you to join us as citizen journalists, techs, interns, guests, and or sponsors. All the info on our website, thepeak.news. And on your favorite podcast site, search for The Peak News. Our show today, it's Monday, so we have business and industry joining us today from Altitude Organic Medicine, Luther Bonow. Luther, how you doing here?
Awesome.
All right, Luther's going to join us for the entirety of this episode. We're going to cover some local headlines, including a man that robbed a store with a finger gun, Hotel Polaris, and of course, the rallies against the Postal Service and Elon Musk. They don't want the Postal Service to become private, that's for sure. And then we're going to have commentary in an interview with Luther on the marijuana industry that is going on in Colorado Springs. As you may or may not know, we have passed recreational marijuana in this last election, this last November. Recreational marijuana now legal in Colorado Springs. From my conversation with Luther, it seems that about 30 out of the 80 medical marijuana stores have filed for recreational marijuana status. Luther, when are they going to start approving those? Do you know?
Hopefully by April 1st, because it's a lot of investment to get it going. But first days of sales is April 14th.
First day of sale, April 14th. So that's coming around the corner. We are going to touch on that. We're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to cover this topic. I think it's a very important topic that we cover. I don't think it's being covered enough. To have somebody from the industry here on this show talking about the impacts of all the pieces of legislation over the last 10 or so years of recreational marijuana being legal in Colorado. Colorado kind of leading the way in that facet for most of the country. Since then, I think there's been 23 states that have legalized marijuana.
I think it's more than half.
20. Is it more than half now? So obviously something that can impact your family, impact you. Luther's going to break it down for us, and I'm super excited to hear in that interview. And then, of course, we're going to finish off with the Peak Rants with just a guy, Jim Miller. Jim Miller's also running for city council in District 5. You can find out more information on his website, jimmillerforcolorado.com. And we just want to thank all of our sponsors. Please thank them for bringing you the Peak by patronizing their business. We are super excited for today's show. Luther, what has been the best part of being in this industry and being in the medical marijuana industry and having the ability to connect with the people and the citizens of this town?
Helping people.
In what way?
Plenty of people are alcoholics that get off alcoholism for marijuana, methamphetamines to marijuana. Not that one poison is better than the next, but marijuana users are less violent. That's for sure. Cancer patients, epilepsy patients. It's really nice when children with epilepsy come in and just takes a tincture to make them stop having seizures. That's real nice. There's a lot of old people, like my grandmother's age, my mother's age. There's a lot of old parents that use marijuana. It's nice helping them. Just help medical side, helping people.
Okay, and what about the recreational side? What do you see changing?
Well, currently with medical, you can't. There's a lot of gun owners. A lot of people don't want to get their medical card due to the gun ownership. with rec, there doesn't seem to be a problem at all with that. And so they'll still be helping people that just don't want to go to the medical side, go to the doctor, get their name on a list or whatever it is. But they'll still be using it for medical, even though it's buying it from a recreational store.
All right, I'm Jason Lupo, and you're listening to The Peak on AM 1460, FM 101.1. The Answer. We'll be back shortly. So, not a 7-minute segment.
That was my bad. The timing. You want time cues till you're out, or till you?
You're going to have to, because I have 7 minutes on this paper, and that was 5.5 minutes. So my clock is not matching your clock.
Okay, that should just be the first. Should just be the first one, because this is not counting the American minute, which is what's playing right now. That's a minute long, which was added since probably that was less updated.
Okay, so this is actually here.
6.
So this is 4 minutes.
Right. Yeah, this. I guess the clock was never updated either. But everything else should be the same.
Okay.
We did great. So
And
it
these
still sounded fine.
Can I ask how young you are?
I am.
How old are you?
19.
Nice.
Just turned 19.
and we can take these features and use them as part of the interview, correct?
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
Cool. Yeah. Normally, what this is where you do a monologue.
Okay.
Normally, the guest does something on their own, but if you want to add more questions, then you. Can
We're
do
just
that
going to
too.
use it as. I
You
don't
want
think-
interview this.
I could
Yeah.
do a monologue for like 2 minutes.
Okay.
I talk fast.
And do you
Okay.
have headlines planned?
I do.
And have you guys discussed it?
It's more fun on the air.
Yeah. Asking questions.
As O'Reilly said it best, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
Hey, remember you're still live streaming.
Oh, sorry, peeps. We're supposed to turn off the mics when we're on there. You got to remind me of that. We only have one viewer. Hi, one viewer. Excuse my language.
There's a chance that one viewer is us.
Even
It
better.
might be good.
Just edit it and post.
Yeah, I'll try to remember this.
There's got to be AI that just automatically bleeps that out.
At least you're off the air. That's important. Or we lose
100%. You guys just don't have a fine from the FCC, right?
Yeah, that would not be good. 'Cause it's not even our personal FCC. It's the
What station is this?
AM 1460.
1460. It's the political station. The answer. I'd love to have you on my other shows.
Yeah.
I think it would be a fun conversation to have with mixing Christianity and the conversation.
Yeah. I
Making
mean,
a big
I would be the
focus.
one. I would. I have seen the power of God. I've seen the reality of God. I could show you the reality of God if you let me pray with you.
100%.
God's real. And it's really while I'm doing, while I'm working, it's.
So the funny thing is, both my other shows, they're both very heavily political, but they're both on Christian teaching and talk stations.
Okay.
I have no clue why they let us stay, but they do. So we're at Crawford, which their station reaches, from Pueblo and Trinidad all the way to like Wyoming.
Wow. That's a lot.
And so we get a ton of people listening in on that one, and it's on their teaching. And so like we're followed by like sermons,
Yeah.
and we're preceded by sermons
Yeah.
on both of our stations.
Some Christian political people are so judgmental and strict that they
Legalistic.
legalistic. There it is. Yeah. Well, but I just don't think there's.
Go live.
I'll be quiet.
Welcome back to the Peak News. Thanks for joining us on Monday. Today is March 24th. We are talking business and industry. I'm Jason Lupo. My business is Full Armour Swim and Sports Teams. Guest hosting for the Watchman, Heim Goldman, who is taking a little rest and relaxation for the week. Our local headlines and what it means for our region. Joining me today is Luther Bonow. He is the owner, or one of the owners, of Altitude Organic Medicine. And we're going to be discussing some fun headlines today, starting with the Colorado Springs man that was arrested for robbing a store with finger guns. We're going to follow that up with a conversation on Hotel Polaris and also on the rallies that are going on in front of the post offices and the Tesla store here in Colorado Springs. But this is a fun one to start with. The Colorado Springs Police Department says they've arrested a man for a robbery where he allegedly used a finger gun to rob a store. Police say they were called out late Sunday evening to a store off North Newport Road for a robbery. When they got there, they learned that a suspect, now identified as Antonio Taylor, allegedly pointed a finger gun at the clerk and began to take items. Police say they later located his car, a pink GMC Yukon. They say they tried to pull him over, but were not able to. They were later able to block him in at a Maverick gas station, police said. Man, I don't think he was on marijuana. He must have been on something else. I mean, what do you think, Luther?
Marijuana doesn't give you courage like that.
Marijuana doesn't give you courage like that. Alcohol will.
Definitely.
100%. Stories like this boggle my mind because it just like, I think we have a situation where we've seen these store owners and these convenience stores and Walmarts and stuff. They're like, we're just going to let them take the property because we don't want to get in a confrontation and end up getting sued, which is just totally like the wrong message that we should be sending store owners in Colorado, that if they try to stop somebody from robbing their store or stealing from them, that there's a chance that they're going to get prosecuted.
That's right.
It's wrong.
It is wrong.
Have you guys had much, experience with robberies or break-ins?
Definitely break-ins, yes, but we weren't there. But yeah, hopefully the store has insurance, but sometimes the insurance doesn't cover everything. So you just hope that the guy can pay you back, even though most people can't pay anything back.
Oh no,
Right.
not a chance.
You get on restitution for like 8 years.
You get your $3 check every month.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we had a guy. I owned an ice cream shop in Colorado Springs and called Cup and Cone. Didn't last long. A whole ton of things happened. Became super dangerous neighborhood. Anyways, we ended up closing down business. But some guy climbed up into the ceiling of our bathroom, proceeded to fall out of the bathroom ceiling at like 2 a.m. Left everything that was valuable. Just took coin, like $100 worth of coin, and then busted out of the front door. Left the iPad, left electronics. He did steal my backup set of car keys, but it's just mind-boggling. Like, I think we need to change the law and change how we look at business owners to be like, listen, you have the right to defend your property as a business owner.
True, but criminals are not smart.
Criminals are definitely not smart, and they will always try to find a way to get away with whatever they want. Colorado Springs Hotel Polaris receives coveted 4-diamond rating. Hotel Polaris opened in November 2024 just outside of the North Gate of Air Force Academy and was presented in March 2025 with AAA's 4-diamond designation. It's such an honor to receive the AAA 4-diamond designation after only being open for 4 months, said Curtis Bova, general manager of Hotel Polaris. We promise to create a new standard for hospitality that celebrates the natural beauty of the Pikes Peak region while paying homage to our landmark location adjacent to the Academy. This honor recognizes our team's hard work and ability to deliver on this vision and provides our guests with an exceptional experience. This is from the Colorado Springs Business Journal. Just to give credit where credit is due, that last article on the finger gun incident was from KRDO, Celeste Springer writing that article. I think that it's great when we have businesses that are coming in that are bringing a different level of hospitality, a different, like, upping the game of Colorado Springs. Because I feel like we've grown so big but Colorado Springs is kind of seen as like this kind of small city still, but we're like as large as Denver, if not larger than Denver in most areas. And so it's about time that Colorado Springs ups their game. What do you think?
Yep. Whatever it takes not to be lame anymore.
Whatever it takes not to be lame anymore.
The more ideas that come in, the more restaurants, the more everything that comes in. Colorado Springs still goes to sleep at 10 o'clock. You go to Denver, why are there so many everything? Because there's so many ideas of people who want to own businesses. And we just need some of those ideas down here in Colorado Springs.
Well, they're only going to bed at 10 o'clock at night because they're consuming pot.
Well, maybe it doesn't make you sleep.
They're trying to get their rest in. They're trying to get their Z's in.
That's true.
Eat those gummies. That's what they're doing.
Well, I mean, it is a good thing everybody goes to sleep at 10. It's nice.
I don't sleep until like 2 a.m. every night. So I love when I go to like Vegas or DC or New York City and you're like up at 2 a.m. and people are still up with you. It's great.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how Denver is.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I think it also just increases the competition, the drive for business. But also, you know, I know a ton of people that have used Hotel Polaris as a date night just locally. I mean, they have flight simulators inside this hotel. And I hear it's kind of expensive, but I hear it's really cool to fly these flight simulators because they're like realistic flight simulators. And on top of that, they, I guess, have an excellent restaurant as well. I have not been there. I know my wife is listening to the show right now. She's probably going to be like, when are you going to take me to Hotel Polaris? Don't worry, honey. I'll take you soon. I love you. So, and anyways, we have this other, across the nation, we have people that are protesting Elon Musk by destroying people's property and by destroying businesses' property. We've seen people key cars, key Teslas, all sorts of kind of just very attacking and demeaning response to Elon Musk to people that drive Teslas. I think it's absolutely horrific. I mean, these are people that bought cars before Elon Musk had anything to do with Donald Trump. Say that again?
The non-conservatives were pushing the electric vehicle for the last 4 years like hardcore, and now they're basically turned against themselves and are burning their own cars.
Yes. Let's make sure that everybody drives an electric vehicle by 2030, so long as it isn't a Tesla or anybody that goes against DEI policies. So around 50 people gathered outside. Sorry, it took me a while. I lost the internet, so I couldn't pull up the article anymore, but I got the article pulled back up, so we're just kind of, wavering around there for a second. Around 50 people gathered outside a Tesla dealership on Saturday, March 22nd to protest against multi-billionaire Elon Musk and the government agency Doge. Although it was the first protest in Colorado Springs, hundreds of protests have been taking place across the country, targeting Tesla dealerships, rallying behind what's being called the Tesla takedown movement, according to Fox News. Peaceful protest is the only true way to make any change that's going to remain. Has to be peaceful, said Lynn Lee, a protester at the event. People at the protest say their goal is to bring awareness to the public. While Saturday's rally was peaceful, many across the country have not been. I just remember the article from not too long ago about the woman that tried to blow up Teslas up in the northern part of Colorado. It's just nuts what people do. I mean, as you've been in this industry, have you seen people protesting outside your shops for marijuana stuff, or are people just mostly peaceful?
No, you got the 420 rally up in Denver. People are not protesting; they're smoking, and marijuana makes people calm.
So maybe we just need more people to smoke marijuana?
Maybe so.
I am not, and by any means going, hey, you should go out and go shop anywhere, but Luther can say that. Join us. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. I'm Jason Lupo, and you're listening to The Peak on AM 1460, FM 101.1 The Answer. We'll be right back with Luther Bonow at Altitude Organic Medicine.
Time goes by pretty quick.
It does.
Yeah.
You're going to have to speak probably much louder and get way closer to the mic.
Okay. We'll do.
Yeah, definitely. I was even having you all the way up. And so a lot of times it's too quiet, sometimes it was too loud.
Okay.
So if you just try to speak close. And you can, if it's uncomfortable to move forward, yeah, move it to you so you're comfortable. And just speak nice and close.
I don't think that anything has come through this screen.
I think it is. It's just paused on here, but it should. It's still
Oh, look, there it is.
So it's still going. It's just it was paused on there, but it should be going through. How was that for time? At first, when I gave you the 9, that was 9 minutes till the music started. Do you want me to give you the time till the break actually starts? Do you want me to give you the time till the bumper starts, or the time like full?
Given the time till the bumper,
Okay, so you should have 30 seconds then.
because I can go into the bumper by 10, 15 seconds, 10 seconds ish.
And then I'll try to cue you. And yeah, that was really good. Good pacing.
Talk louder.
Yeah, talk louder.
Okay.
And try to stay. Important thing is just you also stay consistent.
Right.
With your volume.
Okay.
And obviously, if you're excited, you act excited. But if you keep your mouth, some people, they talk here and they talk.
Right.
They move as they're talking, and it's loud and quiet.
Okay. Good idea.
You don't need to be like a singer. But just, you should be good. Cool. Tracking along. Everything good?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. And you did write down. You are writing on the script what you're talking about, right? As far as topics.
Sure.
That would be good, so I can do that.
I'll do my best.
Please, if you can write down what, this segment we're talking about, whatever the topic of the segment is.
Sounds good. Oh, dang it.
My brother Russ Johnson used to talk on the radio. He talked down here and he talked up in Denver.
Yeah.
He really liked it.
It's awesome. It's fun. It's a blast. What do you want to monologue about?
I'm just gonna maybe talk about Altitude Organic Medicine. We're 4% of the market when it comes to synthetic versus all natural products, and we've been doing this 14 years. Got 3 stores here. Got 1 up in Dillon. I don't know. We're super excited for Rec to come to the Springs.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I'll introduce it.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Peak News on AM 1460, FM 101.1. The Answer. I'm Jason Lupo, co-hosting / guest hosting for the Watchman Heim Goldman, who is out of town right now. Our guest and co-host for the hour is Luther Bonow, the owner of Altitude Organic Medicine, and we're discussing the implementation of recreational marijuana. And then we're going to get into the next segment. We're going to talk more specifically about Altitude Organic Medicine. So I'm going to hand it off to Luther, who's kind of given us a breakdown of recreational marijuana and what it's going to do to the industry.
Recreational marijuana is going to allow the medical centers to survive. Our stores personally get anywhere from 10 to 20 people a day coming through expecting to buy recreational marijuana, like it's understood that the stores currently are recreational marijuana, and then are flabbergasted that Colorado Springs doesn't allow that until April 14th. So we have to send people up to Palmer Park. We don't even mention Manitou anymore. It's terribly expensive over there. So we send most people up to Palmer Park, and it's just going to revolutionize the tax dollars that get to roll in. I think Manitou is making about $2 million a month on 2 centers. And so we're hoping that the tax revenue that comes in will be awesome for the city and allow us to continue to thrive.
Now, the 14 or not 14-day period, the 4-month period that's taken place from the last election till now, which is actually closer to about 5 months. What has the city been doing in order to allow you guys to start selling recreational marijuana? I mean, why the gap of 4 or 5 months since the election to allow this to take place?
Well, the first 3 months, the cities were totally anti-marijuana. They couldn't believe that we actually voted and passed it because there was no confusion when they were winning on that vote, but there was a lot of confusion when they were losing. So the city took the first month to fight it and come up with all kinds of new ways of how they couldn't implement it into the city. And that took about a month off the docket of time. But in the end, they got sued, and the court found us more in favor than them on the concept of Amendment 64. And so then it just goes to the city clerk. The city clerk has to write up rules and regulations on who can and can't own a medical marijuana or a recreational marijuana dispensary. A new rule that's in the recreational law is you can't be you have to be at least 1,000 feet away from any private daycare, which there's private daycares everywhere. And so
Does that include residential private daycares?
it does. So basically, each dispensary, if they're smart, would go to the planning commission. The planning commission does their little 1,000 feet away from everything, and then gives them the okay if they're okay to switch or if they're not okay to switch. And then once you have that okay, you pay the city of Colorado Springs about $4,000 application fee, non-refundable. Pay the state of Colorado $2,131 non-refundable application fee, and then the city does their due diligence. The state does their due diligence, make sure that everything's paid in taxes and stuff, and then they issue hopefully the license, and then you pay the city another fee for the license itself, and you pay the state another fee for the license itself. I believe it's another $4,000 to $5,000. I mean, it's terribly expensive. And then hopefully you get your license, and then once you have your license, then you hopefully will rearrange your store so you can sell recreational marijuana.
And you can sell recreational and medical marijuana in the same dispensary.
In the same dispensary, you have to have different. It has to be separated somehow, whether it be by poles and ropes. Just medical has to be a medical register, and recreation has to be a recreational register. You can't combine them both. This is medical. That's it has to be separated.
So you have to keep them completely separate. It's when somebody enters, they go to one side or the other,
Right.
so that you know exactly who's a medical customer versus a recreation customer.
That's right. And the recreational dispensaries are 21 and up. And so medical marijuana is 18 and up. So if you choose to probably be a recreational dispensary without a different door, all in the same location, I mean, I guess that would be the wise move to be 21 and up. So you're never playing around with the age of who is what on what side of the rope.
Well, it sounds like some different strategy and implementation has to occur within your business to allow for these this new recreational stuff to go through. But thanks for joining us. I'm Jason Lupo, and you're listening to The Peak on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer. Coming up next after this short news break, we'll be talking with Luther Bonow Moore, the owner of Altitude Organic Medicine.
It really goes so quick.
Say what?
It's just words. I mean, like, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, we're done there. Just very.
Yeah, that's what I said. When I do like my shows, we don't have a strict timing. So like we have for this one we have a clock.
Wow.
Which is a lot of shows, but for my shows we don't. So
It just goes so quick. The hour can go so quick.
yes, 100%. It sure does.
What do you think about the mushroom implementation? I mean, after mushroom, well, in that law that they passed, the natural medicine mushrooms, other things that are legalized in that law is like even DMT is legalized.
I think it's
DMT used to be the most illegal substance on the planet.
I think that the biggest crisis that's hitting America right now is the fentanyl crisis.
Oh yeah, totally.
And the opioid epidemic that's taken place in the United States. And I much more care that they're going after and trying to stop that than
Yeah.
they are trying to stop some of this stuff.
Some stuff is
I-
a lot of spiritual.
I didn't vote for mushrooms become legal, because but it's interesting. I've got a huge science background. I teach biology.
Nice.
I love science. I love research. And so I do find it interesting the research that's come out in support of mushrooms.
Yeah,
but I'm not to a point where I am in agreement that it should be used on a mass level by the general public.
Yeah.
And,
drugs aren't for everybody.
Welcome back to The Peak on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer. I'm Jason Lupo, co-hosting for Chaim Goldman, who is out of town today. Joining me today for the entire hour is Luther Bonow, the owner of Altitude Organic Medicine. We're discussing everything marijuana today. And we started this conversation 30 minutes before we went on air. I've had an absolute pleasure of talking to Luther and getting his opinion and just kind of hearing about where the industry has come from and where it's going, and also his views on his faith and on marijuana. And I think it's a very insightful conversation that we've had, and so I just love to continue it on the air. But let's start with this. How long have you been in the industry, Luther?
15 years. I was the fourth licensed center here in Colorado Springs. I'm the founder of Altitude Organic Medicine, and I do have two business partners.
You have two business partners. How many stores?
We have 3 total here in Colorado. There's one up in Silverthorne, Dillon, and then we have 3 stores down in Colorado Springs.
And are you looking to expand, or you that's enough for you?
That is enough. You think many stores, more money. It's many stores, more headaches.
I could see that, especially with the regulation that comes down from the state.
Yep.
Have you seen that regulation stiffen or loosen since the start of this whole thing?
Loosen on the medical side, stricken on the recreational side. There are stings all over the place all the time. The state is always trying to get you to sell to under 21-year-old, is always trying to set you up for failure, or just regulation, which is probably a good thing. But on the rec side, there is a lot of regulation.
Now, I remember having this we had this conversation, but I remember when medical marijuana first started in the state, you had to grow your own pot.
Yes, you had to be virtually integrated, but that went away. You could have a retail without a grow without a retail. You could be a cost-plus store. Obviously, you make more money if you were to be able to produce it and sell it in your store, so you don't have to buy the wholesale prices. But plenty of people are doing just fine without having a grow and just buying everything in and then selling it.
And you had talked earlier about synthetic versus organic.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of go into where the industry is heading with the synthetic stuff, with vapes, with everything that's currently going on, and what kind of differentiates you guys at Altitude Organic Medicine from the rest of your competition or what you can purchase elsewhere?
Yep, true organics when it comes to marijuana is about 4% of the whole market. And so everybody's doing synthetic where you pour sugars or whatever you pour into the root system of the plant, and that helps them grow, kind of like in the grocery store where the organic section is tiny because it produces less, but it's better for you. Whereas the synthetic is mini and it produces more. And I don't know if it's better for you, but it's not as good as organic. Organic just a little bit stronger, more potent. We pride ourselves in what you put into your body here, especially here in Colorado. So if you're going to be an organic buyer of everything, why not be an organic of what you allow in your lungs and in your body when it comes to marijuana as well? And that's kind of what we've been striving on the last 15 years.
Now, when vapes kind of started to become way more popular,
mm-hmm.
and now we have marijuana in vape pens,
mm-hmm.
And we constantly see vapes all around the high schools.
Mm-hmm.
High school kids are vaping all the time. Is it harder to distinguish, I guess, from a scholastic education point of view, what a student has access to? I mean, they're not even stopping them from smoking the vape half the time. So, how do we stop them from, I guess, bringing marijuana onto the campuses? Do you see that as a problem that your industry needs to take on head on, or are you relying on outside sources to attack the keeping marijuana out of kids' hands?
Well, there's a huge black market here in Colorado, and they're very professional at the black market. It's not just buying some weed from a friend. I mean, they got packaging and everything on this black market. So, in the store, of course, your ID is checked twice. Usually you have to go through a security barrier, way more than any alcohol store. It's like a pharmacy, but it's more more security than even a pharmacy. So there's labels on all the packaging. There's dosage amounts on all the packaging, and we're not the police, but we seriously all the packaging is childproof containers. We do not want anything to get into a child's hands, and that's kind of why we want to legalize it, because the black market does not care about any of it, and they have their own packaging. I've seen some black market products that are like, you could sell this in a store, but it's actually just black market, no taxes being paid on any of it.
So as a business owner in the industry, and you see the kind of outcry of a good portion of the public. I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty fair to assess that we're probably split 50-50 in Colorado Springs of those that want recreational marijuana and those that don't want recreational marijuana. How do you calm the noise and calm the frustrations and the concerns of the 50% of Colorado Springs citizens that do not want recreational marijuana?
Right. I think I know recreational marijuana is already in Colorado Springs, due to Palmer Park and Manitou. It's right there. I think time will tell. Let's see what really happens with the tax dollars and where it goes, if it benefits everybody in the city, if it just benefits a select few. That's a big concept. And really just time will tell. If everybody's okay with medical because it helps out their friend from cancer and allowing them to have some kind of appetite and humor before dying of certain elements, it's going to help out the rec side as well, because plenty of people will use it for medicine as well, even though it's recreational marijuana. It really is, the sky never fell in Manitou. They didn't even know what to do with all the money. The sky never really fell in Palmer Park, where, that's a small little town right north of Colorado Springs. If anything, the city officials have enjoyed the tax revenue, and the sky hasn't fallen when medical's here, and the sky won't fall when recreation's here either.
I think that probably a big concern is just keeping it out of the hands of the kids. And I know that from the industry perspective, from the store perspective, you guys do a really good job of making sure that kids can't get their hands on it. But with the black market stuff, obviously it still, to some degree, reflects on the industry as a whole, even though probably it shouldn't, right?
Right.
Somebody that's breaking the law, selling marijuana to underage children, should not reflect on the businesses that do things by the book and do things legally. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it does, because that's the way that the public perceives it, and public perception oftentimes becomes the reality of the day.
That's right.
And so I guess my question really becomes, like, are you planning on taking a proactive approach in education of parents, working with the school systems, trying to educate parents and educate teachers and professionals about what these gummies look like, or these candy bars, or how to tell if a child has marijuana? I mean, is that something you're interested in helping and assisting with?
Oh yeah, we would be more than open to do that. We do want to help out the local areas, especially the school system. We don't want a bad rap. We don't want to have a bad taste in anyone's mouth. We're really just trying to help people that need to be helped. Everything is child-proof packaging and dosages and all that stuff. Nobody wants illegal substances to get in the hands of minors. Nobody wants that. Even pharmacies don't want that. Alcohol stores don't want that. Nobody wants that. But at least on the rec side, everything's tested 100%. Whereas on the black market, nobody cares about any of that stuff. Nobody cares about any of it. And so we're just anything that we can do to help out the school district, or really parents, anything, we'd be willing to do. That's for sure.
If you're just joining us right now, we are talking with Luther Bonow. He is the founder and one of the owners of Altitude Organic Medicine here in Colorado Springs. We've been discussing recreational and medical marijuana, and we're going to continue that conversation for the next, for the rest of this hour at least. But just one more question before we go to break. What is the big differences between the recreational and the medical marijuana side? Like, why, if we legalize recreational marijuana, why still have medical marijuana?
The biggest difference is medical marijuana is for ailments of cancer, epilepsy, sleep problems, women issues, all kinds of things. And the milligrams, when it comes to the edibles, can go from 0 to infinity. 0 to 10,000 is the most I've ever seen. Whereas, and you can buy 2 ounces of flour, and that's it. On the rec side, the milligrams on the edibles go from 0 to 100, and they have to be pieced in 10 milligram pieces. So if there was let's just say a candy bar that's 100 milligrams, inside that candy bar, it's broken up into 10 pieces that are 10 milligrams each piece. Whereas the medical can go from 0 to 10,000. Rec can go to 0 to 100. You can buy 1 ounce of flour. But the flip side, the medical, that's tracked. So if you go and if you get a medical marijuana license and you go to a medical dispensary and you purchase your 2 ounces of flour for that day, no matter what dispensary you go to after that, they'll know that you purchased 2 ounces of marijuana. The recreational side, it's not tracked. So and in our stores, we have a computer system that's tracked. You can only go to our store and purchase 1 ounce of marijuana, but who's to say that person doesn't go somewhere else? They don't track the.
That's 1 ounce per day or 1 ounce per week, or
It's supposed to be 1 ounce per day. The state cares, I think, more about the tax revenue from recreational marijuana, and that's why they don't care if it's tracked, as opposed to medical marijuana. They do care if it's tracked.
yeah, it just seems like for those that didn't want to be under the government's thumb and the government's surveillance, this recreational side of things may actually give them a little bit more freedom.
That's right.
To go and purchase, especially if they care about their Second Amendment right, which hopefully everybody does.
Yep. And the rec side is more expensive. You have to supply the world, whereas the medical you have to supply a select few. So supplying the world, supply and demand. I mean, the rec side's going to be more expensive.
And it's going to come at a greater cost to the consumer.
Well, yes.
Okay. Well, it's been a very interesting conversation. I love having these conversations. Sometimes we don't hear them enough. Sometimes we don't get to the brass tacks of the issue. So I thank you, Luther Bonow, founder and owner of Altitude Organic Medicine, for joining us on the Peak News. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk about the intersection of faith and marijuana because, well, that's an interesting conversation to have. And, of course, we'll complete the broadcast with Just a Guy, Jim Miller, with the Peak Rants.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you. Much easier to talk on the radio than talk on a TV.
Yeah, super chill. You guys are doing great. Sounding really good.
Okay.
By the time we're done with this, your dad's going to be smoking some pot. Probably not. Let's stick with cigars with me, huh?
The change of the Jim rant. Apparently, Jim heard a special one, a tribute to his uncle that passed away, and he wanted us to specifically play it today. So
Okay.
that's what that's gonna be. It's like tribute to Uncle, who was Uncle Joe. If you want to announce it,
And
but it's not gonna be about
Jim Miller. So when we go to the closing, Jim Miller comes before the close, correct?
Right. So you're gonna throw to him. It's a pre-recorded segment. So you have to get out in time. It's 2:24 is how long this one is. Then the bumper will start as he's ending up. And then,
So Jim's rant is 2:24.
Yeah.
Then there's a break.
Yeah.
Then there's the close, and the close is only a minute 20 for
minute
this.
20 plus your 1 minute bumper.
Okay. And coming up after the show is not the Officer Tatum show, right?
Not the Officer Tatum show.
Is it Larry Elder?
I think it's Larry Elder.
You're like, I don't know.
I mean, I can go here. I'll go try to check.
Don't
it
worry
out,
about
and
it.
I can tell you during that.
Don't worry. I'm just gonna bump my show on there.
Oh yeah. Say, well, yeah.
So be like, hey, join me.
Join me if you want to hear more of me. Go to this station. I mean, you're on Z, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, sounding good. Just snooze that. Do you need water or anything?
No, I'm good.
I should okay.
Yeah, I didn't offer you coffee or water. I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
I love this hat that you're wearing.
What?
Like, I love this dove hat that you're wearing.
Yeah, you like this?
Yeah.
I wish I had more. I'd give you one. It's not a dove. It's a bird. It's a hummingbird.
It's a hummingbird.
In the very beginning, it was...
Well, dove is a bird.
Right.
It's a hummingbird. Okay.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was very tacky to advertise the marijuana leaf. So we're like, it's not a leaf. It's a bird. And they're like, okay. Yeah, I mean, at least it's catchy, right? So,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You like it too. After seeing this, if you live in Colorado Springs, you'll see this hummingbird on cars. You'll see it all over the place.
Really? It became like the every man's advertisement of their.
Well, the best advertisement, giving someone a die cut sticker and saying, "Go stick it somewhere."
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why Jim's got his little stickers. They're right there. Oh, I love that.
You can have that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Peak News on AM 1460 FM 101.1. The Answer. I'm Jason Lupo, co-hosting with my friend here, Luther Bonow of Altitude Organic Medicine. Haim is out of town. Hopefully he's enjoying himself. I would love to be out of town right now, but I don't get to go on vacation till the end of April. So I'm excited for that, but you guys don't want to hear about my plans right now. So anyways, we're with Luther Bonow. He's been in this medical marijuana industry for 15 years, also a Christian and a man of faith. And I do find this very intriguing, and not that you're a man of faith and connected to the industry, but that you're willing to talk about this and be public about this. I think it's absolutely awesome. What kind of battles have you had, like in terms of, I guess, personally, internally? Has there been a struggle with the outside world, with the churches? What is it? What do you hear when it comes back to, like, you're a Christian in the medical marijuana industry?
I get judged for, you must not be a real Christian, or I've had churches like disown me once they found out that I was I own a dispensary. They didn't disown my tithes, but they definitely disowned me. Everybody, the Bible says, be of sober minded, because your adversary, the devil, roams around like a roaring lion looking for anyone to devour. And that could be true. It is true, actually. And so I believe in everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. You can use plenty of things for good. You can use plenty of things for good,
And you've been in this industry long enough to see that marijuana has been used for good.
Marijuana has been used for good. Marijuana is a drug like anything else, and if it becomes a problem or an addiction, then maybe it's not always being used for good. But I've never seen someone who's stoned get in a fight or a gunfight, or get angry that someone stepped on their shoes, or even close to any of the problems that alcohol has caused in this city. Most people are lazy. It makes you eat more. But to those who use it for unmoderation, sometimes it's the only time ever that their brain can go standstill and they can actually think about what they've done in their life, or actually go searching for God. God works in mysterious ways. And sometimes he'll work in the mysterious way when that person's stoned, when all of their other chatter going on in their mind, anxieties and stuff, it quiets it out, and so people can actually have time to think.
So you kind of consider it more like alcohol is not the sin, it's the drunkenness that's the sin.
That's right.
And so you kind of compare it a lot in very similar facets.
Right. Everything in moderation,
Why do you think that there are, like, what do you think has happened that has caused Christians and churches to kind of take this super harsh tone when it comes to medical marijuana?
I think they're still living in the reefer madness times. The marijuana gummies that a lot of people are eating, a lot of parents are eating, is actually helping with sleep and the sleep process and being hungry. That's good. Being hungry is good for cancer patients. If they can actually look at the actual medicinal part, then that's one thing. I think it becomes a touchy subject when you put marijuana in front of God. Like, it's time to go to church. You want to smoke a bowl? Probably not the best idea. One should take effect and a look at how they feel when they're not smoking marijuana and what they're willing to do for God, as opposed to when they are smoking marijuana, what they're not willing to do for God. And they should really separate that out in the reality of, is this going to own me, or am I going to own it? And that's the main thing.
But do you see a lot of that problem when it comes to marijuana? I mean, obviously, we're about to make this much more accessible to the everyday person. Maybe we get to a point where we have people that have taken it for medical reasons in the past that are now abusing it. Um, do you have any conflict when it comes to like your own personal beliefs and going from this medical side to the recreation side?
Medical is definitely there to help, and recreational, those that just want to get high, I guess, it is definitely their choice as well. I see a lot of people wanting to use it for help that own guns, that are scared about the whole gun laws and marijuana and the medical and concealed carry. I see a lot of that opening up to them, which is a pretty big deal. Marijuana is a medicine. It's always been a medicine, but with any other drug, it's always has the right to be abused.
All right. Thank you so much, Luther Bonow, for joining us. You can find out more about his company at altitudeorganic.com. And now the Peak Rants with just a guy, Jim Miller, and his take on, well, his uncle's passing. So hang with us.
Will you? I should have been signaling you better. But we're behind time. I'm gonna have to cut Jim off soon.
Don't cut Jim off. I'll make it fast.
No, well, it's gonna start the break. The break's hard. The ads are gonna start hard times. I'm gonna have to cut him off.
Okay.
I don't know if we went over or something. Maybe you did 6 instead of 5, but I should have been queuing you. I'm sorry. I'm bad.
How much time did we go over?
I think almost like 30 seconds a minute. So I'm actually gonna have to cut that much off of him. So it's okay.
Okay.
I should have been. Normally, my dad just does it, and I don't do all the math. Like I saw, you had time till the end of the segment, but no, you got with factoring the gym rant, we ran out of time.
Yeah.
My bad.
I apologize. Oops.
How long has he been doing this job?
Since Peak started. Peak's been around for just over a year.
Do a lot of people listen to this station?
Yeah. Who's here tomorrow?
Tomorrow is. I'll check that to you next. Remember.
Do you have a card on you, Luther?
You know I don't. I'm sorry.
You just want to.
You know Rebecca Lavrans, right?
What?
You know Rebecca Lavrans?
Lavrance, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's who's on.
That's who's on tomorrow, but I'm sending a text about the guest. Candace is on. Is her guest.
Candace Stutzroom.
You want me to write it down somewhere? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it. I'm just so busy all the time.
Oh, I have your info. We were
Okay.
texting. Wait, stupid me. Just put you in there.
Yeah, I texted you more details about tomorrow's show if you didn't see.
No.
Yeah.
I have my phone on
Okay.
airplane mode.
Yeah, sorry, I just texted you what she sent me about the guests, about Candace and what they're talking about. And then yeah, Larry Elder is the show after you. her focus within that sphere is specifically talking about Candace. That's what Rebecca sent me. And then I read
Candace Stutzroom.
So Candace's focus within that sphere with the view of making American godly again. And yeah, after you is Larry Aldo. Copy.
Making America godly again.
Godly again, yeah. Looks like it. How much time we have, Cliff? Like, is there another ad after? Cool, 30 seconds.
Fun stuff.
All right, everything good?
I'm good. I'm beautiful. I want a bear hug from Smokey Bear.
Me too. Gonna be a good bear hug.
Drown your fire. Thank you for joining us for the Peak News. We hope that you're enjoying our hyper-local news talk and are considering joining us as part of the volunteer news team, as a citizen journalist, tech, or intern, or as a Peak partner sponsor, like Full Armour's women's sports teams is. I invite you to join me in sponsoring this show. Thank you to the Watchman, Heim Goldman, for inviting me to host today's show while he takes some much-needed time with his family. Also, thank you to Salem Media and all the Peak News sponsors. We are Monday through Thursday, so we'll be back tomorrow, but with a new guest host. That host is going to be Rebecca Lavrance, the awesome mother here in town that has gone on a much long legal battle for her involvement with January 6th. It's terrible what they did to these people, but she'll be on with Candace Stutzroom, and they're going to be talking about making America godly again. Just an absolutely awesome topic. Once again, if you need more information on the Peak News or you want to find any of the past episodes, go to thepeak.news. You can find every episode that's ever aired. You can also join me on my show, Faith, Family, Fitness, Freedom, on 100.7 The Word every Saturday at 9 a.m. if you want to listen to me again. You can also go to faithfamilyfit.org. Now stay tuned as the Larry Elder Show comes on next on AM 1460 FM 101.1 The Answer, The Peak. We say the quiet stuff out loud. I'm Jason Lupo for such a time as this.